It would, yeah.
For the end of the month.
Okay, I wondered how that like that.
She was supposed to show us. That's right.
I was like, everybody knows, but I didn't know that.
Yeah. Right? Might as well. Yeah. Now she has it.
We're good. Just gotta screen the chat.
Well, we will.
Hopefully not every day, but a few times a week, I'm sure.
I gotta kick out Jason Friday. Kick him in and got some numbers. Ryan asked me, he says, "You're coming back, right, next week?" I'll be back in a month.
He scares me today, because I went over to the lab often and something every day. And I started doing some stuff and come around the corner and was like, you're making a lot of noise.
They're done.
Sorry, huge packets, guys. I don't know if I included too much. Jill wasn't here today to tell me yay or nay, so I just added everything.
Way too much.
Sorry. Don't let that happen again. I will. We had a request for that. It's by,
West of Gaylor.
yeah, it's by our wells. And they are wanting to do some, they just need an easement to cross across our land because they're wanting to do a bridge replacement right there.
Oh, that's what.
And that's just to
This is
let
for-
you guys know that that's going to be happening. We don't have anything to sign yet.
That's-
We're not replacing those.
No, they are.
State of
Yes,
Kansas.
yes.
Okay, it's right number 9.
That bridge.
They just let us know that it'll be coming and that we'll have to sign.
East side, or west side of town.
Yeah. Is that like
Now,
West? No.
no, it's closer.
It's right there, just on Western. Oh, okay. Terry Knox. Okay. Yeah. I hope everything's just steady. Dude, I was steady. I wouldn't kick. I was panicking. No kidding.
It's 6 o'clock, everyone, and I welcome everyone to the December 8th business meeting of City of Smith Center. We have our minutes of the October or November 24th in front of us. Is there any additions or corrections to those October or November 24th meeting minutes?
That's what I saw.
There's no additions or corrections. How about our vouchers and receipts? Are all those in order? All right. I need a motion to approve the November minutes and the vouchers receipts.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion covered. We've got a public hearing with Doug Getz Wilson and Company on what?
Water supply project.
What?
So, yeah, Drew handed out some pictures, cost estimate stuff. So we were, a year or so, maybe a little more than that even.
Yeah.
We had applied to the KDHE SRF fund for the water supply line, and we knew that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do the whole line with the maximum grant that they had available at that time. So we tried to, what we call snapped off a phase one. On that map, the blue is the phase one, the red is the phase two. Just to give you a synopsis of kind of where that starts and stops. We're here tonight to talk about the phase two. So we turned in a pre-application. KDHE notified us and said that you guys qualify for the same emerging contaminants program for phase two. So we have to go through the same process as we did with phase one. And so we'll have to keep them as two separate projects, but what we wanted to do was kind of remind everybody of, they have secured the funding for the phase one, and that's in place. And so now that we know what phase two looks like, we can start the engineering and design, and we can move both projects forward. But they'll still have to be treated as two projects, because in the funding agency's eyes, that's just how they are. So we'll try to take the phase one funding as far as we can take it, and then fill in with phase two. So tonight, we're here to just kind of basically let the public know what we're doing, what the project is. So from your wells down at Gaylord to all the way to the water treatment plant, that raw water supply line it's had its issues, probably long overdue. A lot of money involved in trying to repair something like that. So the theory here would be to put in a new line and then keep the old line as maybe a backup type arrangement. And then do this in a sequence that we can leverage funding. So when the city applied for the phase one funding, there was a threshold of $3 million as a cap. We had put in an application for 3.8 million. And now we're here with phase two for about 1.5 million. And so between all those fundings together, the theory would be you could do it with grant funding. For the 3.8 that we turned in the first time, 3 million was grant. So the hope would be is that we design phase one project to maximize the 3 million and maybe not use the 800,000. And then come back with phase two and potentially use that money as grant to fill in. So it's a game a little bit, but the theory is to not raise the user rates from the water side to finance the project unless we absolutely have to. So as we said here tonight, we would basically be looking at the city submitting a formal application for the 1.5 million. Then KDHE would turn around with a loan agreement, they call it, just like phase one. And we would enter into that, and then we would take disbursements throughout construction. So as we would get a pay application, whether it be from legal, admin, construction, whatever, it's an all-inclusive thing. You would turn that over to KDHE, they'd reimburse the city, and you'd pay the contractor. So 2 projects to get it all with the maximum amount of grant. And I would probably say, if you've looked at the last couple of years of funding through the SRF program, there's probably not anybody that's fell into this unique situation of that much grant funding. So kudos to you guys for allowing Jill to work with us to have Karina help us get in those pre-apps and situate ourselves to at least be ranked on the list to leverage the dollars. So we will have to have Davis-Bacon, BABA requirements. And that's why the price tag becomes pricey, is you got to do all the things that it's federal pass-through money. So in order to do that, we've got to do all these plan of operations, operation and maintenance, all the things KHE funding requires, but you wouldn't have been able to probably pull it off without raising water rates at a pretty good clip to fund a few $1 million worth of work. So with that, I guess I'd open it up to questions if anybody has any technical questions or anything like that. If not, I'll let Karina talk.
I have a technical question. On our original water line, we started out in 1923 with an 8-inch water line, and it had easements hooked on to that one, which carried over to the 12-inch line that they put in what, 55? Somewhere in that
Sounds
range.
right.
Well, we have people that are hooked to those lines that are servicing their houses. Now, with this new line and all these new regulations that we've had come out in the past 25 years, is there any way that those people can hook on to raw water lines, or do we have to do something different? And this is what I was thinking about with the city of Gaylord, for instance. They have only 40-some meters, and I've talked to the people down there. Is there any way possible that we could send the treated water back down the 12-inch line and service those people that have been on the original grandfathered in? And then
Probably not with this funding.
Probably not with this one.
That's where it'd get tricky because of the federal pass-through dollars of what you're doing. They're just funding raw water improvements. They wouldn't be funding treatment improvements.
Treatment.
That doesn't mean you couldn't go back and ask in a separate application for
Because
some
treatment
potential like that.
improvements, you know, to send water back down that line wouldn't be that much at all, because we do that right at the plant.
Yeah, correct. You're connecting it at a very similar location. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would not do it with this funding.
I understand that.
But yes, you could entertain that. Now, I will say Gaylord fell into 2 of these SRF applications as well. Not in the same program, but they are getting,
Are they gonna get some sort of a treatment facility?
yes, in a 2-phase project.
Okay.
They're gonna have, they just had a public hearing just a month ago for the phase 2. So they're probably not necessarily on the top of our radar to buy at that point, just because they fell into that free money. And we're helping them with that. So I would tend to say that they're probably not they lucked out in how their funding fell in place. If they wouldn't have had that, yes, they would be needing something. But, so you definitely couldn't do that as part of this. KHE would tell you that those folks that would be hooked up for a residence should not be purchasing raw water from the city of Smithson, if you went and asked them.
Well, I know that. That's
Yeah.
true. And I tell you what's happened over the years, when you have a break in the valley and somebody's got a cattle tank float on it, you're putting air
Mhm.
for that water to go right back downhill for 6 or 7 miles or whatever,
And you're fighting getting it out.
and you're fighting it. Yeah, you gotta, it creates a real problem. For
True. If you ask them, they would tell you disconnect them all.
I know.
That'd be your solution. But that's not how that was originally
Yeah,
laid out to be.
that's true.
When the original agreements, you can just back out of the agreement you have.
I just wondered if there was a solution that we could take care of those grandfathered in hookups,
You could send it back on a potable water line like that.
but we could send it back on the 12. We'll look into that.
I can help guide you through that once we get the funding secured and we get into those phase talks and the design and all that. We
Okay.
can talk about what that would look like. Because I was planning on keeping that in place to some level, if we could, whether that be for redundancy or whatever. Now, what you're talking about is using it for a potable delivery. It's your line, so you absolutely can. You just probably can't do that with this money, if
I
that makes
understand,
sense.
okay.
But that, I mean, but if this money can fund that, then that helps you have the money available to do something like that. Yeah, good question.
The total of these 2 projects come to what?
1.5, about 1.5 and 3/8, so 5 million-ish. Above it.
3815.
And how that would work is we'll basically try to maximize the grant funding on phase 1. And then we'll overlap some design, and on bid day, we'll probably be bidding more than we want to award potentially, so that we can turn around and make a decision at a council meeting with some alternate bids, I'll call it, like maybe by the mile. That's where we get to a point, 3 million's a grant dollar, if we can set in that space close to it. And then I've overlapped a little bit.
Okay.
So red and blue on that map do not overlap. I have overlapped the cost estimate
Okay.
because I know how the game works. So I'm not supposed to say that, but I basically built that to a point to help you when it comes decision time, when you do get contractors. Let's just say the contractor bids a lower price because things have leveled off and tapered down in price. You may get everything that I had planned on the first one, and then you just don't need the whole 1.5. You'll just give back whatever you've done. I didn't want to be short. I want to be long. at this point. But bids have been favorable. There was a nice sized pipeline at Beloit where they're going from the reservoir over to Beloit. Those bids came in really well. When I compared them back to what Drew and I had budgeted here, they were like half the price of what we had budgeted. But we were budgeting this during the COVID thing, so we were trying to guess if 3 million was gonna be the threshold. KHE never told us in phase one what the maximum grant would be allowable, so it was up for you to guess. So we had a hunch that it might be around 3 million, so we went at 3.8 in case they said it's 4 million. We didn't leave $1 million on the table.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we navigated that. Our goal was to just navigate as much grant as we could get out of it, and then we'll let the chips fall on bid day. If you don't use anything to the max, it's kind of like your past agreements that you've had with KG on the SRF. They just amend it all down to what you took and call it a day, which is what we'll do on the sewer project. We'll amend it down. In this case, you just don't want to leave all the grant on the table if there is a way. So.
Audience, you have any questions to Doug about this project, or our two projects, I should say?
When we get our new water system put in, will we be responsible for maintaining it as soon as you drive away and we don't see your taillights anymore?
No,
It's
the,
$3 million, I'd like to know.
so how those work is with us and Wilson and Company, we'll help the city solicit, award it to the contractor, oversee the contractor. Then there's a 1-year warranty period for the contractor and us to work through all of that. And then we work with Ryan and the guys.
We become the contractor, is what you're saying.
No, you'll just take ownership of it when we sign off as the city and Wilson Company that the contractor's good. And he's got 1 year of a warranty to stand behind. And then the city becomes the owner of the water line after that.
And then we're responsible for it.
Yeah, for the operation and maintenance after.
So approximately, does that become after we're hooked up and?
Yeah, a year.
You understand what I'm
You
saying?
became
We're gonna start
ownership.
in Gaylord and get it here, it's gonna take gotta take a whole year to get it there.
Yeah, this will take a couple of years to
Okay,
evolve just
so
because of
then-
the funding.
Are we like 3 years out or 4 years out, all of a sudden all our bills are gonna go popping up?
By using this grant funding, that's the way to keep the user rates down. So the 3.8,
Providing the grants are there.
the 3.8 from KDHE is guaranteed. 3 million of the 3.8 is a grant. So the goal would be to try not to use as much as the 800,000 as we can. If the bids come in good, we won't need it. So we'll get 100% grant potentially. And of the 1.5, 1.3 of that is grant. So we're guaranteed $4.5 million in grant from this project.
3-5 project, so.
So the theory would be that user rates don't go up at all because we come in under budget, because we built a big budget, and no user rates go up at that point. But we'll be revisiting. The 1.5 is not guaranteed, but it is there for us to take, and that's tonight. If the council decides to submit the application, then we're saying, hey, KDHE, we want that. That's got our name on it. We ranked above the line, and we want to call for it. We want it.
On Bryce's question, coming to hooking up existing fixtures, you've only got 25 grand here. How are you gonna hook up all the fixtures to the new line?
We can't do any potable hookup with this. This is raw water.
To our system, straight to just our
This
treatment
is
plant?
to bring your wells to your treatment plant.
So all our pipes that are no good in this city are just, excuse me, we will receive higher pressure from the bigger pipe, and our lines have a chance of,
Pressure won't change. We break head at the water plant. So the well's pumped to an open basin at the water treatment plant, and that breaks pressure right there. The pressure in town is supplied by the water tower. So your pressure won't change. Pressure is today what it'll be into the future as well.
well, our water pressure goes up and down, so it is what it is what you're saying.
And that's when your high service pumps are on or when they're off. That's
That's what causes that?
that's that fluctuation. Because you're pumping from
I know where.
water plant all the way to the water tower. So when them are on, the pressure goes up a little bit. When they're off, pressure settles. Then when the water tower goes down, pressure dips as the water tower goes down a little bit. And then when the pumps kick back on, you'll see a slight raise in that.
Where we have high demand on our pumps when we're pumping the new water from this bigger pipe. It's set up to run on a smaller pipe right now. Are they gonna wear out, is what I'm saying, quicker?
No, we're actually gonna help your wells. Your wells are on VFDs currently, which are, best way to say that is like, you can kick on a pump and it'll just run full blast.
Right.
When we did the water plant, we put variable frequency drives on each well so we could turn the pressure down so that we weren't blowing the supply line apart, was the theory behind that. Because it's 1920s.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to lower the pressure on that. And then the pressure is zero at the water plant on the wells. So it's 100 pounds down at the wells, it's zero here because we break head and throw it into a
We pick
basin.
it up from the tower back here.
We pick it up at the water plant, out of that basin.
Residential's pick, all the pressure comes from the towers.
Yeah, you residents in town, this has no effect on your pressure, no impact to what you see today.
Won't wear our equipment out, is what, it sounds dumb to say that, but it's not, it's true.
No, we're actually gonna help you because the hardest thing on your equipment now is when you spring a leak somewhere out there, then your wells just completely pump on the right-hand side of the curve because the pressure goes off of them, right? You get a crack in the pipe or whatever, now you're open to atmosphere and they're used to pumping to that basin. So when that happens, then they completely pump on the right-hand side of their curve while that break's going on, and that's not good on them to be running clear on that side of the curve. So if we can take this thing from breaking all the time and turn it into a stable environment, then it's easier on the equipment.
Will there be electronic monitoring systems down this line, so in case there is a break, that we can tell, we just all of a sudden,
We will not have that. They wouldn't fund that.
that's okay.
That would be a extra in there. They would basically say, put that on you, the city, and charge your residents for that because nobody else is operating like that. You're asking for too much grant to do specialties
That
above
would
and
be
beyond.
considered a specialty, not a,
Yeah, they just want to replace your problem. They want to fix your problem. And the easiest way to fix your problem through this program is to replace the line. And we're navigating the funding because we have manganese in our water. That was the key word when we applied. If we didn't say that we have a manganese problem, which you do, but you treat for it, then we wouldn't have got any of the grant. So we went out saying we have iron and manganese in the existing pipeline. It's so many years old. We want to improve the line. And they said, okay, since you're manganese, here's some free money.
There's probably a half-inch buildup of manganese in these lines. When we had a water leak, probably 5 years ago, down underneath the irrigation canal, we had to cut the line and put in a valve on each side of it. That plug that come out of there had a half-inch of manganese buildup on these lines, which restricts the water flow horrendously.
our entire system has that in it. And it has had it for years.
Especially in the transmission line, yeah.
Yeah, transmission, I mean, our entire water system has the same problem.
I think another big thing that'll help us on this line is right now we can't isolate.
Isolation.
And we're gonna have valves every couple miles. So we'll be able to shut it off without wasting all that water. Because we don't have any isolation valves right now.
That's a good point.
There will be,
Oh, yeah.
that's exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah.
We'll be able to cut it off. And
We're gonna have one at least every mile, just because.
That's a
Just
no-brainer on that.
if we're gonna spend that many millions of dollars, KHE will pay for the isolation too.
Yep.
So that's a good point. And I don't wanna make it sound like it's just great, but I don't have any other community sitting in this position with phase 1 and phase 2 funding with that much grant. But I don't know if Karina, if you have anything. We've navigated our way into this to keep the user rates down. That's the best way I can say that, because otherwise the council was forced to go at this by
It's been close
themselves.
to 14 years since we had a rate increase.
That's,
I've been here
yeah.
10, and it's long before me.
been here 15 and we've had it up and down a little bit. It's sewer weight, rates are going up.
And
I don't know what.
did we apply for one that got paid off?
We did. We applied for 90% of $190,114 for the previous water plant indebtedness. So I just submitted a grant application to the water office for you guys to have 90% of that forgiven. So we should hear about that. It's supposed to be December, but I've heard now it could go as late as March. So
So that's another avenue we've taken to try to
Thank you.
allow the council to potentially put their money into those distribution lines that you talk about. if they can get some other debt paid off with a program, then that allows them to do distribution lines in town, which you've done
Several.
several compared to other towns your size that Drew and I go to. Nobody's really putting money into that right now because they don't have it.
7 or 8
So-
blocks we just got through.
Yeah, all that along that new
All the
street
highway,
All
Main
New
Street,
York and Main Street
without raising rates.
without raising rates.
And most towns aren't able to pull that off. So kudos to you guys for that.
Thank you.
We go to a lot of communities that just can't tackle it. They're just trying to still figure it out. And this will allow us, if we can work on the supply line with this grant money, that allows that, you guys to keep doing things like
So if we
that.
can reduce indebtedness on our current plan, how many dollars was that, Karina?
90% of 190,114. So you,
That'd be on the old sewer pond. Right.
I think it was water.
You did the water,
I thought it was
that one
water.
would be bigger.
Well,
than that.
either one of them, there, we do it together.
Okay.
One for water, one for
That's
sewer.
the one I applied for anyway, the 90% of 190.
Okay.
Hopefully that was the right one.
So whether we're fishing out of too many pots or not, we're fishing.
Okay.
I mean, so, and that's what you have us here for, is to just help with that. What can we achieve? And that's how we started this project. But if we had applied for it in just phase one and put the whole cost estimate of the two together, we would have got $3 million in grant and everything else would have been a loan. So that's why we chopped it into two.
Okay.
That's the only reason you're double doing the paperwork, if that makes sense. For another 1.3 million, I would do that too. So I guess I'll turn it over to Karina and just kind of let her talk about pieces and parts.
Thank you. Okay, in order to go forward with this application, we need to approve the resolution that you guys had in your council packets. KDHE, as long as we send them a complete application, we should be good to go. They'll look it over and once you'll get the loan agreement after it's approved. So we didn't have a resolution number the other day, so do you know your next one yet?
I don't.
Okay. Last time it was 2023 dash something, so this time it's going to be 2025 dash something, but I don't know if you guys can approve that or not, but it's a 2-page resolution that basically says that you guys are going to go forward with the loan application in the amount of $1,522,500. And like Doug said, it's a forgivable loan up to $1,350,000. Let's see. Yep, $1,350,000 of principal forgiveness, as long as all the rules and regs of the program are met. So, and this authorizes the mayor then to sign the application. And then you agree to abide by all the rules and regs of the Kansas Department of Health and Environment Public Water Supply Loan Fund. Do you guys have a book with your last numbers in it or records of?
I'm sure there
Okay.
is. Jill just hasn't been in this week, so I
Good.
haven't had a chance to check with her yet, so.
I'd really like to get this mailed off tomorrow if possible, but you guys have another council meeting in December again, right?
Yes.
If we had to.
Council, everybody understands what the, in front of us?
Yeah.
We should add that resolution number.
Sorry.
Any questions, council?
No.
Do we have to,
Everett?
Nope.
Ty?
No.
Tracy?
do we have to have the number to approve it?
We'll assign a number to it.
You can, I would hope that you could approve it contingent upon assigning a number to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don?
Yep.
Chris?
Doug, this is line, and I'm kind of doing this because we've got some newer guys that maybe not are aware of all this, but this is line 1 of 2, correct, of our Siamese lines coming up from Gaylord.
Line 2.
This is line 1 or line 2?
This will replace both of them
This is, and, okay, so that was
with
my next question.
one new line.
So the redundancy is gone.
If you keep the old, you could keep one of the old lines as your redundancy.
Okay, that leads me in my last question. What is your vision or what is your thought for that deadline?
Probably keep the 12.
What's the health of it, for one?
Well, yeah, that was what Ryan and I talked about at great length, is I was like, we may want to just, as we go through design, figure out which ones had the least amount of breaks.
Well, the 12-inch hasn't that I know.
Yeah.
And then basically look at it as, let's keep that. And at that time, he was like talking about sizes. And I said, well, the reality would be, is if the smaller of the two was the better framework of condition, you would theoretically at that point say, if you ever had to go to that line, you turn your VFDs down so that you didn't raise the pressure. And you just pump at a lower rate because your water plant can run 24/7. He followed up with that as, well, my 12-inch line is my better line. And I was like, well, then it's kind of a moot point. Like, you wouldn't really change your VFDs, you would just use your 12-inch, your redundancy. We put valves in between that as well. And I said, we might even be able to pull off to go put some redundant valves on that and not call attention to its KDHE. Well, we're putting in isolations on our new, we just have them jump over and put an isolation valve on the old one as well. But we can do that, and Drew and I have been creative enough, you can do that in the bid form. Just don't call big attention to it on the plans. I don't think KDHE would care that we do that. If we're under budget and they say, I've had this before where I say, we're under budget, can we just add 4 valves over here or whatever? They go, okay, no problem. We have money left over. If you're over budget, they'd be like, well, it's probably on you. Well, fine, we just have the contractor do it while he's there and pay for it out of city funds or whatever. I think we can navigate it right back into the project. So Ryan and I, not the precursor, but our first discussions were to keep 12 and tie it across so that it's usable if we ever need.
That was my,
It's a great question.
I'm not a plumber, but one would assume if we let that other line die, deterioration happens quicker. Is that true? Like we want to keep pressure there?
It's coated enough that probably the hardest part is that, you don't want to leave water in it because you're also somewhat of the mindset that water is going to be horrible when you want it. So now you're flushing it. So you probably are going to leave it empty to some level, or we need to put a flush hydrant in a couple locations that we could flush it out. I don't think it would degrade, but if there's manganese on the inside of it and sits there, it might start flaking off the first time you try to throw water back into it. So kind of dang if you do, dang if you don't,
But one
from
would
my
think-
perspective.
I mean, I would think with starting over with a new line, we would fix this problem, but we've come really close and have ran out of water when we've had some major breaks. And that put us in a pickle.
It is a bit.
And if we're gonna rely on one line and one line only, I mean, we got how many miles of line to deal with? It'd be nice to have that security blanket there if needed.
I don't want to lose it. I mean, that was my comment to Ryan I mean, KHE's funding us for a new line, but we just need to find a way to tie the old one over to have it told. Now, the only other thing we talked about was those connections that you had. I said, they're not in the business of tying them over, because as soon as you call attention to them, then
I know
you open a can of worms, but
we've run into this.
But we can have the contractor leave a pit open in that location, and then the city staff could do that.
Yeah.
And Ryan's on board with that.
Yeah.
From with, like, he's like, if that's what I gotta do, that's easier than replacing 9 miles long. So that's where we left that conversation. So your question's great. I mean, like, why would you not try to put something in place? Even if it's not perfect, it's still a backup plan.
Yeah.
You can still survive. You're probably flushing initially, but like Ryan said, if I got to flush for a while, I'm wasting millions of gallons all the time every time I break. So at least I'm intentionally going about it here. Like,
Obviously, we're fixing a bigger problem, so we probably won't need it, but.
you never know. There's gonna be a day. There's gonna be a day, right? Like, I've had it before where you put in some brand new pipe. We'll probably do some pretty thick walled stuff, and in essence, to not try to bed it. Because hauling bedding in and out across like that's not ideal. So the best way to overcome that would be, so if the pipe's laying on some rock that we didn't know about, put a thicker walled pipe in. But if you get some longitudinal crack, and it happens 2 or 3 years into it that we didn't on the start and stop, and we created that, then yes, you are in that situation again. At least you've got the redundancy to survive that, and you've got a mile of new line that you can isolate to fix that a lot quicker than what you're trying to accomplish today. You're just fighting it back on you if it's down in the valley. Everything's back at you at that point.
And they're gonna have to put some flush valves on those miles it's got
Yeah,
valves on, because you gotta be able to drain it.
you got to be able to have a way to drain it at the back end. That's why I said every mile. I just think it's the best isolation to give you protection. And it needs to be along the road so that you've got an avenue. Hopefully, we can strategically do that.
What year was line 2 put in?
55, I think, 55 or 65.
it PVC or is it,
That's gas.
it's cast? I know it's not in bad shape though, that 12 inch.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Thanks.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. Any more questions,
Nope.
council?
Nope.
No.
I need to approve this resolution upon signing of the number for the,
I'll make that motion without the number at this time.
need a second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve this resolution 2025 question mark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. And also, to be able to turn in the application, we have to prove that we held a hearing. You have to approve the resolution. You have to approve, there's a 4-page application in there that you guys should have got a copy of. Usually I do ask for a separate motion, even though you guys made that motion on the resolution, just to approve the KDHE application to be submitted. Have you guys had a chance to look at that?
That one there, Karina.
It looks like this. Yep.
How come my paperwork looks different?
You the mayor.
I was told you didn't want them front and back.
I didn't have the front.
So it basically just gives a project description, the history of the number of customers, water production, valuation, that we have all of the attachments to the application, which I will attach your preliminary engineering report. I've got that from Wilson and Company. I have done the environmental review, and there was no major findings, just the standard typical things. I send it to the engineers as well, so that way they take that into consideration during the design phase. And then we have this APA notification that you're not going to lobby for additional federal funding. There's a capacity development survey in there. It was updated from 2023. KDHE just likes to know that you guys have looked at it as a city council. And then we have our administration contract. So there's 2 separate projects, so we have 2 separate contracts. This is the same contract that you guys approved back in 2023 for phase 1. The dollar amount is $10,000. It's included in the budget. So if this all falls into place, which it should, as long as we get a complete application turned in, I would be on board to help walk you guys through it. I've already got the application and the environmental review done at this point. You won't see an invoice for me for years. You know, I still haven't even sent you, I don't believe, an invoice for phase 1, and that was done a long time ago. So I would need a separate motion for that as well. Unless you guys have any questions about what it is that we do as far as our contract. Okay.
Council questions?
Nope.
You want to hand us the first one that you want us to approve?
Yes.
And this resolution will be one number
Um,
after.
And it's not a resolution, just a formal motion to approve submitting this
Kansas
application.
Public Water Supply System.
Yes.
Any questions about this?
No.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You want me to sign this copy?
Yes, please. And this resolution would have to be signed by the mayor and attested by you and sealed. Do you have your, since you're gonna mail me those other
Yep.
things? Super. Okay. I'll take what I can though, and then this also, that doesn't need a separate motion.
This is the,
That's just a signature page. You're not gonna lobby for additional funds. And that was in your packet also.
need a motion that we're not going to lobby for additional funds. Yes.
You don't have to just have a motion for that. You just have to sign it. Thank you. Now, this one will require a motion to enter into a contract with the Northwest Kansas Planning and Development Commission in the city for $10,000 for administration of the
Any
project.
questions on this agreement, council? With Northwest
I'll
Planning?
make that motion, Tim.
It's moved
Second it.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And this last agreement,
It's the same thing. One for you, one for me. So I will just wait for the resolution and the minutes to come in the mail. And as soon as I do, I will get that application submitted. And you guys will get a copy of the entire thing. It'll be about this thick. I'll bring it or mail it to you. Okay? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
and this concludes our public hearing on our water transmission lines from Gaylor. We'll go on with our regular business. John, you have questions from the last meeting about the hospital?
Yeah, I hope, I don't know, ever, you weren't here at the last meeting, so I hope the minutes reflect my concerns in there sufficiently for you. The only thing I have to add is, and I haven't thought about this, and maybe you all have, but Thanksgiving weekend, I drove around town, and I all of a sudden realized that the residents that live here weren't the only people that were here. There were lots of folks here visiting. So in addition to my other concerns about parking issues, where are the visitors going to park? Not just the Thanksgiving visitors, but the day-to-day ones here. And so that just adds to my concerns that I had with the other.
Well, this is a county project. We have two commissioners here this evening. They will help answer these questions.
Excuse me, Bryce, this is not a county project any longer.
Yes, it is.
The county still owns this property?
It has been transferred to an individual.
That's what I'm saying. The county doesn't own it.
Yeah, but the county's putting the funding together to get this project on its way.
But the county doesn't own it. My point is this, the county no longer owns it, correct?
No,
Correct.
that's correct.
Okay, so now it's the city's responsibility
For,
for whatever is built there.
It's
No,
they're responsible for zoning, but
Only
not for.
three.
Okay, the planning for zoning, not what's built there, I apologize. But you are responsible for determining the zoning.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. And I think the initial planning and zoning committee was in error because they made a decision without the information they needed to document it. They took a phone call as gospel.
I don't believe that, John,
Excuse me, Terry told me that.
because this project has been in process for what, 2 years plus?
We started in 23, our first meeting here in this place
Yeah.
with 4 members.
I said, I wasn't gonna get into this, but we can't find the minutes to any of these meetings.
County has them.
The county does not have, according to what Melissa was told.
Well, I can give you numerous days where they, or numerous weeks where they were published in the Smith County Pioneer. and Smith
Well,
County
I guess, Jim, what I'm saying is that we checked with the county clerk and she does not have documentation of those.
I can get
Anywhere.
everyone that you want.
Okay.
I got 1, 2, 10.
It really doesn't matter, in my
You
opinion.
were asking
The
for
issue
it.
that we're talking about here is whether or not to change the zoning from R2 to R3. And I've expressed my concerns there as to why I think you should leave it alone. And I was just further expressing that with what I observed over the weekend.
We
as
have
far
a
as-
contractor in line that's gonna change the outlook out there where they're gonna have possibly another $50,000 additional annually to the county's taxes and city taxes.
Okay, but my question
That's
is,
several new homes.
several new homes.
Yeah, more than one. For
I
our
haven't
share.
seen any of that anywhere.
Well, you're right. Nobody wants to build in town other than 2 spec homes in the last 3 years.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. The issue is in your lap, in my opinion.
Well, it is, and we're gonna take care of it.
And
For the zoning,
what's that?
for the zoning.
For the zoning,
That's right.
yeah.
Because I know we had 35 at our place for Thanksgiving.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We,
Where all these-
everybody found a place to park.
But,
He was on the
yeah,
call.
they found a place to park. I'm not saying they won't find one, but they're gonna engulf that entire neighborhood with people that aren't related to them. Yeah, I'm not saying they won't find a place, Don. I'm saying that generally, whoever comes there, where are they gonna park?
Yeah, the research, and I talked to the zoning people, and they thought, and they did mention that they took the information from the phone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they approved it, so they must have been satisfied, and I don't know if the guidance for that approval, they should maybe have had more guidance as to what
That was my point.
the issue was. And I don't know. What's the difference between, I looked between 1 and 2. What's the difference between 2 and 3?
Between
Times 20.
zoning,
Yeah,
it's multifamily.
well, 2 is 2, isn't it?
2 is up to 2, I think. 2 is 2.
Because I thought 2 was like,
2 is like a
you
duplex.
could, yeah,
Okay,
duplex,
that, I did say
condos.
duplex,
Okay.
not a multifamily building. That's 2.
That, yeah, and 3
3
is,
is, you build whatever you want to there, with the exception of whatever concerns the public has and whether or not there is sufficient parking there according to the requirements that you have.
but didn't they, you have to supply 2 parking places
Per
for each
unit.
unit,
Correct,
per unit.
yes, that's as I understand it. And
And their
I don't
research-
think they're there now for that. And my further concern was, shouldn't you also, besides my health, my safety concerns, and you're aware of those, shouldn't you also be taking into consideration where the rest of the people, the visitors are gonna park? There's no place for them to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's for short term, it's not for a long term.
What's that?
I'm sure that'll be short term if there is a problem.
Well, how you gonna solve it? My question is, how you gonna solve it?
I think
If half of
I
the
think it'll
people that-
solve itself, John.
Yeah, they'd be parking in front of all along the street in front of my house.
Well, how much frontage do you have?
I didn't measure that.
A block,
A block?
A block.
an entire block.
Well,
Yeah.
there's
Well,
certain people that live
I have a
on
question
that
for
block.
you too. I guess I'm on this guy's side, okay? I don't want it zoned again for big houses, okay?
It's not a big
Well, it's
house.
not big.
I'm not
How many
arguing.
houses?
I'm
I
just-
walked through the whole unit this week. I did, I walked around, you guys have, it's about the size of Chris Cole. How many cars can you park at your place, Chris?
At days, it feels like 250.
Can you really? I said, that might feel like, I'm real. I walked around the whole building, all the old building, old hospital. I have grandsons that were born there. And there's other issues other than parking. As soon as they build it, it's a good idea. They only control it until we get to the street. All that poop is ours now. Gotta be pumped to our sewer system.
It was pumped there before.
No, it was not.
Yeah, well,
Tracy.
it was a hospital.
That's right, Tracy. It's not 24/7. The toilets don't all flush at 7 o'clock at the time. I live right over there by you.
Yep.
We have low water pressure. You know that. They're gonna cut off. This whole place is gonna be held together. I believe it's an inch and a quarter line is gonna feed those units inwards.
No,
No.
Okay, I haven't seen it and
no.
we're just gonna do that.
No.
Is our pumping station getting rid of our poop? At the hospital, Tracy, every room was not filled. You're right, the hookups are there. We had plumbing issues at the hospital for years and years. That's why we're there.
Really, I'm gonna sit down because my issues, they know what my issue is.
Okay, well, I agree with it. I live right there with
And
you.
that's fine, but I don't know anything about the poop problem.
It's gonna be a problem is what I'm
I do
afraid
know
of.
that I feel there's a parking problem, a safety problem, and I appreciate your time, Councilman, listening to me. And I would appreciate your consideration.
Thanks, John.
Let's have the councilman, Ed, tell us what's gonna happen with the manure and stuff to our water plant, new plants and everything.
I'm not a councilman.
Okay, but I mean, if you guys are okay to change it,
With that,
I don't
part of
think
the
it's gonna hurt a
requirement.
thing.
huh?
I don't think it'll hurt a thing. We got sewers that run the whole length of town. If everybody flushes at once, it's gone. Then all the sewers are connected, so it ain't gonna matter. If from the hospital this way, you can fill that 10-inch
Our
line.
area over there is bad for sewage. They're pumped it. We're bad for water too. Our pipes break out there all the time.
Water is, I don't know, that could be your own line.
Well,
I mean-
it's the city line because they've dug it up 3 times in front of my house.
Well, we know we got infrastructure problems.
Well, the fluctuation in all this, all of a sudden, on and off, mess with our infrastructure.
I don't think so.
I don't want to think, I'd like to have it, all of a sudden, it'll be on us to take care of it, once all these units get hooked up to our infrastructure. Okay, and yeah, we're gonna get some income from it for taxes, okay? And our water bills will go up, I did the math, a couple grand a month we'll get for water bills. If our water prices don't go up, $37 a month times every many units, there's our income. Property taxes for the rest of you guys, I mean, that's supposed to take care of what might happen down the
That's what
line.
passes through, it comes to us, that it's a big project for the city and the county. And it helps with our economy here, just to keep everything open and things rolling.
Well, we're spending a lot of money on our water, big project for our county. In the 15 years I've been here, do you know how small Smith Center has shrank? How much is it
I don't think it's shrank any.
dissipated? It's dissipated quite a bit, and a large percentage. Our high school itself has dropped down a whole grade. Just so that you can know the awareness of what's going on.
We're gonna try to go the other way.
We're trying to go the other way.
We're trying to do our best to make that.
By having houses.
Well, you
We
gotta
have plenty of
people
houses
live
that
there.
we could bring in.
We don't wanna turn it into our neighboring towns now.
Well, we don't want to turn it Portis, we don't want to turn into, I agree with that. But in the bigger projects we've had around here, the hospital, the airport, was it local, come on, was it local employees that built them?
Some were, and they stayed.
Some, okay, what I'm saying, as a majority, let's go high percentage, 75% of them local?
No.
Not even
because a lot of our
25%.
Local contractors can't bid it because they don't have the insurances to do it. That's why the requirements to do these projects are high. Not just local guys can do that.
Well, it's a county project now. Isn't it? I'm asking.
Well, yeah,
So then we have the insurance.
insurance.
Well, if it's a county
Bill,
project,
in your request, you were to be talking about the hospital.
now I am talking about the hospital now.
Okay, we're talking about the hospital now.
Right, just about everything I mentioned is about the hospital, all concern that's gonna be brought up.
The airport and the other hospital, and that's all.
No, what I was asking, it was a common
I
question.
think you need to go.
He told me that,
The
I am,
commissioners meetings.
I just didn't know this has been,
Our part of this,
I'm asking it for, as a citizen,
three.
I'm asking
So
for it either to be put
this
off
is what our part is.
or to be left alone. Okay, or to brought in amongst the city. Everybody, for a vote. Not just, somebody said there was 3 or 4 people not even shown. You know, I'd like to see the minutes. If it was a 4-man Area 61 conversation, I don't know. Doesn't seem to show up on the minutes. Can we bring it up before a vote for the entire community?
Go to the county clerk, and I think she can lay them out for you.
Well,
That's where those.
she said there was 4
that's
people
where
at the
those
meeting.
minutes are stored, Bill.
We were told that she could not find them. Is that correct, Melissa?
When I spoke to Ashley last week, she didn't have any minutes. But
She
she knew
said
that
that?
Jim has been in contact with, the owner of the property.
I have the minutes.
I was gonna say, they're being taken as we sit there.
Well, that was part of my concern. Everybody's telling us there's minutes and we can't find them.
I can find them.
They're a part of the county commission minutes. They're not separate minutes. They're a part of the county commission
correct.
meetings.
It's a separate committee, right?
No,
No,
It isn't?
the committee reports to the county commission.
I know that, but it's a separate committee. It was 5 individuals, one committee. It
There was
was
4 to start. 6 when we finished.
And so there would have been minutes of that meeting, or no?
That's why I asked you.
We're not required to.
That's what we were trying to find.
That was a search committee.
a research.
Call it what you need to get going.
Well,
Hey, Doug,
So does-
if you wanna, you
No,
can-
we got another problem. We gotta get rid of what we got on the table right now. Not yet.
Okay.
Council, you have before you whether to approve or disapprove your zoning commissioner's recommendation. And I'll need a motion to either approve or disapprove their recommendation to change it from plan 1 to 3,
We'll find it in my tiny pack.
Summary,
or 1 or 3.
what?
From
Change it.
R1 or 3.
Yeah,
R2.
or R2 to
Or
R3.
R2 to R3.
Mhm.
R2 to R3.
I don't know that there's a, because we had it in our packet last week. The same paper, their minutes again, is that what you're looking for?
I would like to meet with the zoning committee.
I actually don't think we have time for that, but they made their recommendation. Either disapprove it or not, or approve it.
John, wasn't your biggest concern parking from last council meeting?
I didn't get left working here.
Wasn't your last concern, the biggest concern topic you had in the last council meeting was parking, correct?
That was the concern I had, where you folks are supposed to
Right.
make your determination. My other concerns were where are the kids gonna play?
Right.
There's no place. The safety of the children, the safety of the general tenants, and the location of this by 281 and South City Limit Street.
You raised your kids in that area, was it?
What's that?
You raised your boys in that area, was that a safety concern then?
It was not then, but I have a fenced backyard, Bryce. I have had I've been there 40 years.
There's, yeah.
So no, it was not a concern of mine.
Jim, can you enlighten us on the number of parking stalls that they've allotted versus what they think they need versus what they have? Is that information available?
Yeah, the engineering report, as somebody mentioned, requires 2 spots per individual. We have 3 available. So if that answers that question, I'm not gonna get into playground areas because that will come at a time when they finish out their plans. I guess I would maybe relate that to the facility that went in on Highway 36. The apartments, is those parking spaces, how do they compare? What do they do about kids playing? You're right by 36 Highway. Do you compare that or not? But that was the engineering's report, that we have 3 spaces available per occupant.
Jim, doesn't that also allot a bunch to Wellness Center? Wasn't there 20 stuff?
He allowed 20 spots for the wellness center.
On top of it,
Off it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's separate.
And the daycare has its own spots
Yeah.
on, part of it.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but right now, there are 27 spots across the street from my house, 27. I assume there's 27 on the other side, of which you just said 20 are gonna be the wellness center. So now we're up to 34, Jim.
And then
Where are the other 70 coming from?
you have the Circle Drive on the north.
The Circle Drive on the north is gonna
South
have
City
to,
limits.
you're gonna have to allocate some spots for the laundry.
Drive on the south.
Because if you don't, people are gonna wanna drive their laundry from wherever in that complex around. So you're not gonna be able to have all those spots. So let's say there's 10 there. Now we're at 44.
The current number is of apartments is 33.
Correct,
Okay?
correct.
So if you're up over 60.
66 you need.
66,
We're not there. You just took 20 of the 27 on the west side and allocated those to the wellness center.
The empty lots to the north won't be used for parking at all?
I'm sorry,
The empty lots to the north won't be used as
it,
parking?
it isn't owned it's owned by the West Walla.
Yes, correct.
You have about 20 spots in the circle drive.
Good luck with that. I just said,
Around the alley.
Ray,
Inside the
you're gonna
hospital.
have to leave part of that for laundry, not designated spots,
No.
the laundry.
So
No.
this isn't the first time that there's ever been an apartment complex made out of an old building in Kansas. And I understand your concerns, you don't want people parked, something that you can discuss with the city council is putting no parking signs in front of your house.
I don't want a no parking sign in front of my house. I want to be able to park there if I need to. I don't want everybody else parking there though.
So your house happens to be on the north end of that block,
It's in the middle.
and the entrances to those apartments on that side, I believe there's only
4 or 5.
4 or 5 entrances. So there'll be 4 or 5 apartments
Right.
parking on that street, and there's more than 15 parking spots on that side of the street.
There's
correct?
27.
Correct.
But
The other-
the others
there
are
will
also
be-
going to be used as well.
There will be parking around the north between the daycare and the hospital.
That's what I was talking about.
Between the daycare and the hospital.
Yes.
Okay, show me, document that for me somehow. That's all I'm asking. Show me a projection that shows that
When you
you've
talk
got.
about need some for laundry, this is parking spaces required for residents.
I know, I agree
So we
with you,
can't-
Jim.
We can't penalize that by adding for laundry.
You're not adding for laundry. You have put a laundry in a place where if I live on the other end of there, I'm gonna wanna drive to the laundry, not carry my stuff in the middle of winter, and park there and go in and do my laundry and come back out.
That's between the renter and the owner. It's not between the city.
I know that, but what I'm saying is that eliminates some parking places.
The parking places will probably be assigned to apartments.
Well, then if it's assigned to an apartment, then I can't take my laundry, put it in my vehicle and drive around and park in
Probably
front of
not. This is not for people who, the whole idea of these housing is for workers. People who can carry their laundry or wheel their laundry on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Or go to
it.
the
My
laundry.
argument still goes back to the safety and the number of spaces available. I don't believe you can show that you've got.
If the apartments are not occupied, is the parking free for anyone?
Those
That's not-
rules and regulations.
I
are not
can't
in the
answer
city.
that question.
Okay,
That's a real redevelopment question.
okay.
This
Because
is
I just
a-
think if there's empty parking spaces there, could they be used by the general public?
I wouldn't touch that.
Okay.
I mean, my first response would be, I don't see why not, it's the center of Kansas, but I'm not gonna say yes. I could ask Shane, I talk to him every week. If you want me to ask him,
You know, I could see there may be them putting a sign up that may say residents only.
then that could happen.
Council, we've had enough discussion. I'm going to go back to my original. I need a motion to approve or disapprove the recommendation coming from the zoning board. And I'll do a roll call vote, whether it's yes or no.
Can we get back to cats?
Here in a bit. Here in a bit.
I'll make the motion
Two?
Yeah.
To do what?
to go from the zoning it from 2 to 3.
Because I don't want to stop. I understand everything you're saying, John, but I really don't want to understand. I don't want to slow up the progress of that facility, bringing some much needed housing to Smith Center.
Well, and that's been my concern, Ty, as well, is that they've dropped this in your lap and put the pressure on you to make a decision that I think you should make, in my opinion. You mentioned your dad would have jumped off all over that chance. I've been by his place. He's been there a month.
My father-in-law.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your
It's
father-in-law.
okay. I was trying to think. My dad's been gone a few years.
Okay, well,
I think what place
I
that was.
apologize, but your father-in-law, and you said he would have jumped at the chance to get in there.
Yeah,
I've been by his place. He's been there a month. He wouldn't have liked it there at all, with what he's done with that place.
I was just using examples of single, and I also got in trouble. I need to apologize for my mother on camera. I called her elderly 2 weeks ago. That wasn't a thing to do. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching. But
I have a motion on the table to approve the zoning board's change from
but
2 to 3.
we'll work however we can.
You can't wish your vote.
That's not a wishy vote. I made my vote, but I'm not just saying that's it, that's life or death. We're in Smith Center, Kansas. We got to work together as a community, be progressive and help people. You can carry on about your sewer line, but
Fix it if we need to. I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Everett,
Yes.
yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Ty,
yes.
Tracy,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Chris?
I'm a yes, contingent that we have the spots available that were promised.
Don?
Yes, with the same contingency.
I couldn't hear the contingency.
Yeah, we get the spots we're promised.
And one last question, and I'll get out of your hair here.
Do you have a cat?
No,
There'll be some.
I don't have. I agree with what you're saying, but we're not gonna,
Thank
I
you.
think they need to provide that now, not after the fact. Because we're not gonna know it either till they provide a schematic that shows it.
See the plan.
The plans that are in on the deal, they're building it in phases. That's not gonna happen all at once for all of it. It's in phases. If they come down to the last phase and have an issue with the parking, we
Will
will
they stop?
address that. We will address what their answer's gonna be, yes. But it's in phases. Phase 3 is down the road several years.
Yeah, well, and that may be, Bryce, I'm just, again, the critical question for you guys is the spots, they have not shown you that they can do it, they can just tell you if they can.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your time.
I don't disagree with that, and you're right. I mean, it'd be no different if I lived there, or Don, or Bryce. I mean,
No.
I understand your concern. I think it'll be fine if they fulfill what they've obligated themselves to do. My gut tells me.
Well, and I don't disagree with anybody's point that we need the housing. Absolutely, we need affordable housing for anybody that's looking for a place to live. I just don't know if this is the answer, in my opinion. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Now we have to.
Okay. Doug?
Doug, do you have anything else to bring for the council?
I do, because I'm already here.
You should have jumped up before you got.
No, it's
started.
fine, it's fine. I think you have a copy of an engineering agreement in your packet.
Should be the first.
If you don't, I brought extras. This is, the reason I didn't do this earlier is it's phase 1 related, not phase 2. So we're gonna do a
Okay.
public hearing and
Do
all
I
that.
need, have we approved that
This has not been approved,
phase 1?
not the engineering agreement. We've been waiting on phase 2 to see what the funding
Okay.
would be in an effort to have this conversation, because my concern is that we would travel down a path and we wouldn't have funding to complete anything.
Okay.
And then we would be trying to solicit KDHE or the water office or whomever else. So since we were coming tonight, I wanted to bring this along. So we laid the framework in the preliminary engineering report. We had did that 2 or 3 years ago pro bono just to get the grant funding because Karina needed it for what she was doing. So we had settled in on that 3.8 million. And Karina mentioned earlier, she did an administration agreement with you guys some time ago. I've just been holding out to know who was going to fund this so that we could, now that we know phase 2, we can start on phase 1 is our mindset here. You guys you don't have to make a decision tonight by any means. Probably want the attorney to review the agreement just like you have in the past. Totally fine.
And she did. I did send it
Oh,
off to
okay.
Tabitha to review, and she said it looked great.
She
So-
called me today.
Did you?
Okay. So I just had, in the preliminary engineering report that I had in with me, we had, I'll change my clip notes. We had budgeted, the engineering side of it, we had budgeted about 225,000. And so this agreement would be for the phase 1 piece. This would be, because of KHE, you now have to design. You can't just go out and build it yourself. All the rules and regs come into play. So that's why we're here. So as I proposed that in the exhibit A, so the first part's all standard, was what Tabitha used to see in many years with Wilson Company. And then exhibit A is where I outlined the scope of services. And so I broke it into final design, bidding, and construction related services, because that's what KHE would be looking for. And so this would be best way to say it would be your turnkey approach from the engineering side to walk you from now all the way till the end of it through the warranty period. Just kind of like all the past contracts, like we did the water plant and that. And so 1.2 is final design services. So we'll do a survey, work with all the guys, work with the regulatory agencies, review everything, prepare the bidding documents, go to KDHE, get approval like we've done in the past. They'll review, they'll approve, they'll make sure all the provisions are in there. We'll have to have contractors sign proper forms. You guys signed some no lobbying and all that a little bit ago. We have to sign that. Anybody that works for you on this that gets the services reimbursed has to follow the same thing that you signed up for. So you guys signed up to meet all the KDHE criteria, we will too. So we'll design it, work with you guys, go to KDHE, have some talks about isolation valves, air releases, all those things. Just like past, prepare opinion of probable costs, go to bid opening under the bidding services, conduct the bid opening for you, recommend a contractor. And then once you pick a contractor, we'll guide you through that process for the pay apps. Kind of for a lot of you guys, you've seen that before. For the newer guys, kind of from start to finish, and working with Karina. So you've approved of Karina as an admin contract. We'll work with her like we have on the wastewater or the water, kind of standard. So I don't want to beat the scope of services to death. The theory is that that's to guide you guys, meet all the KDHE criteria, put everything out to bid, solicit the contractors, get the contractors. First thing we'll probably do would be survey, and then we'll try to figure out. Jill had pulled a bunch of the old easements for me. We'll start going through the old easements, find out how much width we've got to work with. Can we put it in the old easement? Is the old easement still applicable for us today? Work with Tabitha on. We may have to fine tune a couple of them maybe. But the theory would be to be workable. We'll get some pictures together that we can meet.
Is there a distance requirement on the old lines?
Do what?
Is there a distance requirement on the old lines?
Since it's raw water, new line can be as close to the old one as you want it. My fear is just blowing it out while we're working.
Yeah.
Which is more logistical of having enough soil bearing pressure while we're digging beside. I mean, that's why I
Like
probably would move over 5 feet just to have it up.
Just for in case you got a problem.
Yeah.
It's a soil bearing outward wherever a joint is to where the joint might buckle on us. It's more of a functionality thing than it is any regulation thing. Great question. So we'll comb through the easements, start laying them out, find out what we got. What do them old easements say we have a right to, not to? Do we need to update them?
Yeah.
Do we need to get a new one? We need to have meetings with landowners. We probably bring them in, talk to all the landowners about what we're trying to accomplish, why we're here, right?
Okay.
Sometimes them happen individually, sometimes them happen all together. We're flexible. It's just kind of what you guys feel is best on those. But we need to get some pictures together after we get, the theory would be to fly the drone over it and collect the topography off the drone. is what we're gonna do to try to save on that. We'll probably go out with Ryan and drive it first, set some flags for control so that they can tie in with the drone off of lat lawn, and then they'll probably fly that thing with the drone. Work with the airport for clearance, and do all that. So the theory would be is to work with you guys, design it to build what they call a project manual and bidding documents. So a lot of those projects are, you develop the plans and specs, all the criteria, solicit the contracts. We have a wide net of contractors in Kansas, Nebraska that will come down here. Kind of like on the Lagoon project, I think we had 6 or 7 bidders. So it's a big enough project, you'll probably draw some pretty good interest from that perspective. Kind of like Beloit's line that you
Yeah,
haven't saw.
right there by the.
That's a supply line too. It's just new.
How big was it? That's pretty good size.
16?
Yeah, that's a pretty good size line.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here?
For now, 12, we'll run some head calcs. I'm just gonna take all your VFD, turn them up to 100%, see what, right now we got a little pressure issue if we turn them all up and run them in combination, so I might try to see once if we could upsize the line potentially and then reduce the pressure.
C900 would probably take all that.
That's our thought. Our initial gut reaction was to go C900, no bedding.
That's what I was gonna say.
I wouldn't be against doing an alternate bid for 2 types. They did do that at Beloit. The PVC wasn't C900, I don't remember what they did, but they ended up doing PVC over HDPE because you gotta fuse that and then you don't have a fusing machine. It's harder for you to work on it, right? So if somebody tells me they'd like to, I'm open to it, but I don't want to put the guys at a
That fusing
disadvantage.
machine's not cheap.
Correct.
Yep. A little off topic, but is there any way or is it possible or is it crazy you can bring out? Can a guy put a fire hydrant, like, it looks like the line crosses about 210 road and N road at that intersection.
On the Good
roughly.
County Road?
Is there any way to tie in a hydrant on that?
Yeah.
Like between us and Gaylord? For emergency?
For fire department, for fire?
This is what we got, between
Fire may.
no-till
I
and
think you
drought.
can.
For fire, yes, we would have to guarantee it can't be used for potable use.
Well, no,
No.
wait, he's talking a regular fire hydrant, because we did it on our rural
Oh.
water line.
Yeah, for the style or whatever, yes.
Yes.
I sat down a little bit ago and Drew was like, just from a functionality of building it and pressure testing it, and a contractor trying to find his leak.
Yeah.
We're gonna want isolation valves at least every mile, is what he was telling me, and we're gonna want a hydrant about every mile too, because
Oh, really?
those guys, when they start pressure testing and they find a leak, it's chicken, a
Yeah.
needle in a haystack to
It
find
is.
that
So
leak, right? So
where the valves are gonna be, we're gonna have a hydrant as well?
we should. We probably will have some type of flush at least about every mile,
That'd be great.
which would help you for the future of the fire as well. You just ain't talking about it.
Right.
Right.
Mr. Gwinnett left, but he's one of them, plus a handful of other guys that
Have trucks.
things have changed for us with no-till farming practices and fires that we never used to have and running out of water that we never used to run out of.
Right.
And we got guys storing their own water now, even the co-ops are filling tanks in the summertime for us because it's such a hassle to come clear back to town for water.
The only key is, do we have to do something with your telemetry to set up some sort of pressure sensor that would kick on a well?
I'm just,
Totally doable.
this is just a thought.
Totally doable.
Like,
We're gonna have hydrants incidentally just because of the constructability.
Right.
So you're gonna get that.
I already got
So
it.
now the style of the hydrant just needs to adapt to what you want, right? That's all it needs to be, which we specify that by working with you guys. So yes, we've done fire hydrants like that on supply lines, even though it's not a little 2-inch flusher, we put a big old fire hydrant on. It's just a flush hydrant in ours.
Yeah.
It's all how you narrate it.
Right.
We put the 2 inches.
So totally doable. Yes, we probably, when we get the plan together, ought to have you involved in that process of,
Well, I can get you somebody who walks more than me.
well, that's fine. Yeah, whoever. Yeah,
But
absolutely doable.
if the council agrees, I think it'd be
Oh, it's a no-brainer.
a good idea.
And what we budgeted for like 4 of these or 5 of these or 20 of these does not matter. A budget's a budget. We can do whatever and we can move and shake. One of the things we were talking about was if we had a little bit of money, maybe we do some alternate bids to replace the lines back into the wells as well.
Yeah.
They're not as big, but we environmentally cleared the whole area. As long as Karina, that's where she's good at. She's environmentally cleared everything. So we can do some alternate bids for things like that. We want to maximize the dollars, I guess is the way to say that, so.
Thank you.
Okay, I can't remember where I was.
Do we need a,
Oh, so I broke them out into final design, bidding, and construction related services. In the contract under page 7. So the scope of services matches that. And so then coming back to the front, I've just got the final design, bidding, and construction to the 209, and we had budgeted 225. So you can use that other money for easements, whatever. We budgeted for easements as well. So I mostly just wanted to mention that we were under the budget that we set originally. You don't want to be over that as you start through that, because that's a chunk of dollars. I totally get that. So, and this is all reimbursable. I think it's Exhibit C. It's the same forms that Bryce signed when we turned in the loan agreement application to KDHE, no lobbying, no certificate. We have to fill out the same forms. So that's what Exhibit C is. Thoughts, questions, concerns? We'll probably design more than we think we can handle. And then whatever we don't get awarded, we'll roll that into the phase 2, and we'll be doing that again.
Tabitha called me today and she didn't have any problems with this.
Do we need a,
Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve the owner engineer agreement plan.
Second. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, next step you'll see is I'll work with the guys and the drone and.
You need
we'll
me
work
to
with
sign
Ryan.
any of these?
I brought 2 of them, one for you, one for me. Just the green tab. So we'll get that started, we'll get the clearance to be able to fly near the airport. We'll probably survey it all, phase 1 and phase 2, I should have mentioned that. The goal would be to survey it all this time, why come back twice? And so there really won't be a survey fee when we come to phase 2, because we've already done that. I should have thought about that.
Tentatively, once phase 1, we'll start.
I signed here under Wilson.
Oh, he did it backwards, yeah. I'll scratch it out. Good call, Bryce. Goal would be is we probably design that, and then we probably want to get it into KDHE towards the latter and bid like, call it wintertime next year. Because people are trying to load up their work in December, January, February, theoretically. If that changes, I probably would update you guys and say, hey, we're getting a lot of calls. I know that Drew's kind of in the same boat as me. We're working with contractors all the time. If some of them like APAC or somebody calls and says, we're getting super hungry, then probably also getting that same call from somebody else like Midlands or whomever, we might rejiggle that. From the KDHE side, there's really no timetable from their perspective. That's what I like about this program is you got some flexibility to try to fit when the contractors are not so busy. They've been small. Bids have not been too great until this year. This calendar year's looked a little better. So theoretically, probably going to KDHE later, fallish next year. And then easements could be the one thing that hold that up.
I bet some of those are lost in time.
I've got quite a few, I will admit. Jill did some big time digging and we come up with quite a few. Now it's just laying them all out and seeing from this and stuff. That could hold that up. So that'd be probably the only thing is, we got to go back and visit with some people. And that takes, kind of like the lagoons, it took a little time.
Yeah.
So it could delay it, but you wouldn't get penalized from KDHE's aspect. So, okay, that's all I have tonight, unless you guys got
Thank you very
anything.
much.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you caught us on a light evening.
We made you longer, didn't we?
My wife texted me, she wants you to come back and stand in front of the camera.
That's not bad.
Somebody could have told you.
I wasn't going to, but I was busting at the seam. We have the municipal water conservation plan, is that Trina?
That's what we've already,
We've done that,
Yeah.
all right. We're getting down to the nitty. Dennis, you may have the floor.
Don't all run to the door at once.
You got any recommendation for a cat?
Shoot him.
thank you.
Thank you.
Probably went out to
Thanks,
everybody watching.
Get rid of it.
Watch her blow it up. We're going for readings, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Viral.
Well, we're trying to keep it under an hour,
Okay.
but no, really. As we're going through this, if there's any questions as we go, just stop me and ask the questions at the time. Actually, it's better to do that than wait to the end. We'll start off with on page 1, the independent auditor report. It is a little confusing the way it's done. The style report that you're using is what we call a regulatory style report, which versus the generally accepted accounting principles. The generally accepted accounting principle report would be about 3 times thicker than this one and about 10 times less readable. So basically what it boils down to says we are not giving you an opinion on the generally accepted accounting principle style report. We are giving an opinion on the regulatory style report that we have here. This is more designed, this style that matches the way your budget process is also. So we're telling you, we're giving you an unqualified, which means clean opinion on the regulatory style of report. The audit was performed in accordance with the generally accepted auditing standards of the U.S. and also the Kansas Municipal Audit and Accounting Guide, and is in compliance with all of that. We'll skip on back to page 4. This is the most important page of the audit report. This shows beginning unencumbered cash, receipts, expenditures, ending unencumbered cash, and we add back encumbrances and payables to actually end up with actual cash. And for, the term unencumbered cash is a unique statement. What it boils down to is it says it's cash after all identifiable expenses have been removed, such as obviously accounts payable, utility bills, normal bills, etc., but also encumbrances. The encumbrance is the unique thing. Encumbrances are, if you ordered a backhoe tonight, it would be, even if you knew it would not show up till February, you've got to have the money on hand as if it was going to be here tomorrow. So that's an encumbrance. It's obligation to pay even though the service or product has not yet been provided. So when we talk about unencumbered cash, it says it's available cash, less payables, less obligations you have outstanding to give you a hardcore actual available cash to spend in each of these respective funds. So that's what that really means. And it took me years to come up with that definition. But it's the best way I can describe it. That means hardcore available cash. And so this is the entire, for all the funds of the city, is on page 4. Overall, your cash balances went down a little bit last year, partly because you paid off quite a few of your projects that you had to expend money for, and et cetera. So overall, it's your city setting in good financial condition. And believe it or not, we are now having to make a determination about the viability of our municipalities because of the budget laws the state is putting out there. And there are some cities starting to have some sweating their ability to viably continue as a city because of the limitations they're putting in the budget process, which is interesting. That just popped up this year, so you do not have that issue, by the way. So anyway, we'll move on to page, balances a little bit. Page 8 is number 2 there, compliance with Kansas statutes. The first one, encumbrances. By statute KSA 10-11-17, those encumbrances we talked about need to be identified and booked into the accounting system at the end of the year. That is not being done, and we do recommend strongly that be done in the future.
To do this, is that a form of a motion?
No, that's what statute requires.
A form of a motion.
No, well, it's like, okay, if you, let's go back to a backhoe example.
Right.
When you made that motion to buy it, that becomes an encumbrance.
Okay.
Or if the contractors here give you a like if they give you a $200,000 contract to do the engineering on this, that becomes an encumbrance immediately, you approving them for that project.
As if we were paying them right now.
As if you were paying them right now.
Yeah.
So even though it's not, the cash not going out, it needs to be booked on the books immediately at that point.
That's what you said we were in violation of?
Yep, that's not been done in the past. So you've got, they sometimes, some places will list like a spreadsheet or just a tablet.
I know we used to, but I thought that.
But they need to be actually booked in the general ledger now. So
I know we used to do that. What's changed?
well, you've had some turnover in staff, and that probably has had some impact on that. So anyway, that's number one. Number two, it's a more minor issue. Kansas statute says if you've got an outstanding check, more than 2 years old, you're supposed to take it off the books and treat it. It's no longer an outstanding check.
That's just something we collect.
Well, it's like, okay, you wrote a check. I'll give you a couple examples.
Not
And never-
somebody that
never-
wrote a check to us that we can't cash.
No, you wrote a check out and they never cleared it.
They never cash.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I've had some audits where we've had the check go out, it cleared the vendor, never got back here.
Really?
So it's on your books, it's still an outstanding check. The vendor's happy, they cleared it on their account. But so if it's an outstanding check in your reconciliation, 2 years old, just wipe it out.
We have any?
There's a few.
More than $1 million?
We're talking, I think, Bryce, we're talking hundreds.
Oh.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Little dollars.
Let's don't turn this thing into a Tim Waltz thing.
So, but that's just, that's a minor technicality, but we do point that out. Otherwise, I won't go through the rest of the footnotes. If you're really having trouble getting to sleep, recommended reading.
Yeah, right.
Subsequent events at the end of the year, we found nothing to indicate there's any significant material items that would affect the financial statements that occurred subsequent to last year. On page 14 is the outstanding debts that are currently on the books, and we will have some more coming up probably. But and you'll notice the last one is a commitment. That's a 3.8 million that you're talking about here. There's been no commitments on your part. There's been you're just really starting to roll, but it is.
No, we just approved that 1.54 today. Do we need to log that in?
That'll probably be on here next year. No, but that would not be an encumbrance like the backhoe. This is a long-term project with debt commitments to the state.
So we don't need to log that for 25 when
No,
we close this year out? Okay.
Is there any certain amount of that money that has to be a certain amount of money to do that? Or is it something cheaper than a backhoe or is there a money?
The 1/3 would be materiality. Bluntly, yeah, obviously, if you proved to buy a
Say a chainsaw.
What's that?
Say a chainsaw.
Yeah, small stuff. We're talking 10,000 more meters.
Okay, that's my question.
We're not talking little leaky stuff.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Let's see what else we can say. Well, that's pretty much it, but, and I did want to point out, most of these type of projects we're talking about with the state of Kansas, you will spend the money, then you'll apply to get reimbursed. So and you'll notice on that page, I didn't point it out on page 1 or 4, that there are some funds with negative numbers because you didn't spend the money or committed to spend the money, they have not yet reimbursed you back. And that is legal in Kansas. When the states put their commitment to it, that's no problem.
Yeah, the one with the little star on it.
So anyway, on page 15 is your economic development revolving loan fund. And this thing has stayed together really well over the years.
Wait until next year.
But we've had cities in the past that had one of these, and sometimes they're gone in 2 years.
Yeah.
So you guys have had this a long time.
I think next year this one will have somebody slit their throat off.
That we hope not.
That's not gonna be good.
By the way, the pipeline you're talking about is long overdue.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
And then on page 16 is actually only the budgeted funds that are required to be budgeted are listed here. And over on the very right-hand side, if you have a positive number, and then you have a budget violation. There are no positive numbers, therefore there is no budget violation. So we have no issue with the budget law. Okay, the next page on 17, we start the general fund. We'll go through some of these. I'll try not to vary in too much detail. The variance between actual and budget for revenue is more for presentation purposes. It's not really followed tightly by the state or anybody else. Then on the expenditure side is where the state does look at the budget. They know good and well that when you budget, you pass a budget in August, it becomes effective January 1st the following year. You're gonna have some line items that are gonna might be much more expensive than anticipated or a lot less. And the state law allows it, it's not a line item budget, it's overall budget. So if you blow, let's suppose you had a major street repair problem and had to spend a lot of money fixing that up, and so that line item gets way bigger than the budget. If you cut back some other areas on the budget, you're okay as long as the total money spent by the general fund is below budget that was approved. So that's good news there. Over on page 19 is the total. You basically had a break-even year on revenue versus expenditures in the general fund. And you had $500,000, you could have spent more if you would have needed to, and before you had had a budget violation. So you're in good shape there. The industrial development fund on page 20 is you collect the money and then it's a property tax, and then turn around and it's spent for industrial development projects. That can be, a lot of cities will use it for, like if you had a new company come in town, they wanted to run a pipeline, like a water sewer line to a plant, maybe 200 yards. Sometimes the industrial development fund is used for that expenditure instead of charging it against the water or sewer fund, they use it against this one. But it's got a lot of other uses. You can use it for some promotions, whatever you guys decide to use it for. On page 21, the library fund is basically conduit. You assess the tax, you collect it, and then you basically hold it for the library. Many cities will literally pick it up and just turn it over to the library. Where cities do it differently in city to city. So it doesn't matter, but the library is assessing the tax through you guys in order to collect it. That's what it boils down to. But you do a lot of the appropriation to the library differently than some other cities. The rec fund on page 22, of course, is at your local rec commission, and you collect the property taxes and then use it for the activities, and that can be, of course, youth, but it also can be youth elderly. So it's not just youth, contrary to what some people think. On page 23, the Special Street and Highway Fund. This fund is a counter to the street department in the general fund. One year you could say, we're gonna reduce the streets, and for gravel and asphalt, we're gonna charge to the street department in the general fund. The next year, you might decide instead to apply it and pay for it out of the Special Street and Highway Fund. They're just one and the same. In fact, one city we have, they actually literally pick up and transfer the expenditures out of the general fund and move it over to the street and have all the street expenditures funneled through the one Special Street and Highway Fund.
Well, we don't, looks like we're not using this fund at all.
It's
What I'd like to know is we're doing some work on our new pool house. We're putting in parking and curb and guttering.
It says Special Street and Highway. If you would consider your parking a street,
It's parking off the street.
That's a question you may have to talk to legal on, whether, how broad you can interpret that. I can't answer that. So that's unusual. Normally, we see it mostly, it's, fixing streets. Occasionally, when you have a big water line blow out and they have to fix some streets because of that, sometimes it's used for some of that, et cetera, but whatever.
Not necessarily for new construction, but for more of the maintenance of current.
You could actually use it, I think, for if you're building a new street into a new development, I think you probably could, because it's just Special Street and Highway.
So that you just answered my question for the first time.
Well, except is that a street?
Yeah, it is.
If it's, like you're gonna,
You're gonna run the street through the parking lot?
I mean, if you do, then I think you're gonna be okay.
One lane of it.
I'd say if it's connected, if it's right there on the street, you're probably okay. By the way, the source of this is the, every time you fill up gas, whether you fill up gas here or diesel here or Kansas City or Wichita, you've got a very small piece of that total tax collected and it's spread throughout the state. So it's not just money collected here in Smith Center, it's statewide. Special Parks and Rec on page 24. This is money that can be spent for anything associated with Parks and Rec, the mowers, other maintenance that you would put on a park. The source of it is when you guys buy some drinks at the bar, and they actually have a tax split three ways. 1/3 goes to the sheriff's office for their alcohol and evaluation process. 1/3 goes to the general fund and 1/3 goes to this. So that's the source of money for this.
So this is actually 3 times what we're thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
So you collected, in the city of Smith Center, you collected $18,000 last year.
That's hardly my board tab.
Well, we won't go there. The Employee Benefit Fund on page 25. Basically, this, every city we work with has purposely split out this grouping of funds. We're talking Social Security, retirement, workman's comp, insurance, dental, et cetera, because these are monies that if somebody else, Congress, state, health insurance, somebody that would come in and says, okay, you gotta start paying us more for whatever reason, you have no control over that because there's somebody outside here saying we need more money for whatever reason. And so the reason is that this way it's especially identifiable, and if you get some pushback, you can say, hey, Congress raised the Social Security taxes 2%, we got stuck with it. So type thing. Okay, on page 26, your equipment reserve fund, you have money transferred in it from various sources, and then you can spend it. What had happens was, okay, let's pretend that the general fund or the water fund puts money into the equipment reserve fund, but you need a new police car. Once the money gets into this equipment reserve fund, it is not a fund, it is a city fund.
It loses its source.
So it loses its source. So the money came in from the water, it went to the general fund for a police car. No issue. What it means is equipment, kind of wheels, runs around type thing, or something equivalent to that. So there is some.
We're in good shape there.
Yeah, you are. Some cities also have a cap, basically goes down to real estate improvements with the same type of fund structure. Economic Development Fund on page 27. Of course, this one is where you do collect sales tax for it and then use it for your various projects. And so that's what that's about. The revolving loan fund on the next page is, of course, we talked about that earlier. And I'll go through some of these other
Cash
funds.
available for those two total?
What's that?
The cash available for these two or these?
Well,
27 and 28 total?
Actually, Economic Development Fund could, if you needed to pump up the development revolving loan fund, I think you could.
Okay. But what's under the committee is the
revolving loan
on
fund.
page 27.
Yeah,
And then what's on 28 is council.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip a bunch of pages here. And moving on back to, okay, on page 32, as your ARPA fund, you had to spend that money last year, you were sent back to the federal government. So that's what that money is there, and it zeroed it out.
Okay. Sounds like that's what Tim was.
We're skipping some of the special project funds. On page 38 is your water fund. And of course, this is the water fund where you collect money for, assess water rates, and then you use it for the various projects. I'm really happy to hear that you are doing a lot of distribution repairs, because a lot of cities, that's not getting done. And eventually you will pay for it. So I'm glad to hear that. And then on page 39, you can see you have plenty of budget room in case you would have had to fix something major. And bluntly, if you ran short of money coming for this project you're talking about and had to come up with some funds, this would be a source for it. And on page, you also have a reserve fund on page 40 associated with the water fund. The golf course, let me skip to 43. I think. 43 is your waste disposal. And last year you did take $100,000 out of this fund and add to your equipment reserve fund. So that's nice you're able to keep that fund going. And that's a quick run through. Any questions?
Do we need to use any of these and spend some of that money? I mean, that we're,
Well, it's, of course, if you look at it, you have a bunch of different funds. And most of those funds have a certain limited window you can spend money for. But if you have a need for that and there's money there in that would meet that window, you're home free. And you just gotta be careful. I once had a city that ran out of money in the water fund. The general fund had to spend a lot of money directly out of the general fund to keep the water going. So hopefully you never get to that point.
On the water fund, which page goes that?
About 42, 43.
43 waste.
Yeah.
43 waste.
Which one?
43 waste and 39. 40
So
water.
30, yeah, 38, 39, I think is the water fund, yes.
$38, $39. We grew by $139,000.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was concerned about that.
We historically move money out of waste in the equipment reserve yearly, don't we?
I think too, you might buy, if you need to buy major equipment, it's a different story, but yeah.
This lagoon project that we just finished up shouldn't have any impact on our cash balances in the future. Wasn't it most of the grant, 90% of the grant money?
So you sound like you're in good shape. I mean, based on this, you got pretty good shape.
It should be a wash.
Yeah. Or at least you've got enough cash flow to cover it, yeah. Any other questions?
So if, I think one of these days, boys, we're gonna have to buy a backhoe, but
Yeah. I thought we had somebody looking at that.
we do. But, so would you saturate what we have in equipment reserve if we had to spend that kind of money, or would you take it out of water and sewer?
Well, let's give you two examples. Let's suppose that you need a new backhoe, and you, in realistic terms, you expect 90% is gonna be water and sewer.
Yes,
I probably would go water and sewer.
you take it out.
But if it's one that's out of the style, or just the fact you have needs over here for the cook sewer system, or also have a need for the city general funds or street department, and it's gonna be very usable for everything, then you could definitely pay for it out of the equipment reserve. Actually, there's nothing wrong with taking it all out of the equipment reserve if you wanted to. It's, once it gets there, it's a city source of money,
As you wish.
as you wish.
As if you guys remember, we bought a pickup accidentally.
Yeah.
We done a third, so we pulled that out of
Yeah, and you could do that too.
Yeah.
So any of that, because, I mean, probably of your street equipment, a lot of it is gonna be usable for multiple uses.
Yep. Sewer and water.
So it's not a, some, like the big cities, we're talking the Wichitas of the world, they will actually have they will buy equipment, and they will assign it to an equipment pool. And then when that piece of equipment comes out, and let's suppose the water department wants that piece of equipment today, they will charge an hourly charge back to the pool to refund that equipment cost.
Really? Like a separate entity?
Yeah, and those are separate fund, and you don't see, of course, that in small cities, but yeah, the big cities, I used to do the auto in City of Wichita, and that, they did have equipment pool for that. By the way, that was a long time ago. So, anyway, any other questions? It does take a motion to accept the audit report.
Okay.
So moved.
I have a motion to accept the audit report by Don. I need a second. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I also gave a little boring material to read. It's about 3 or 4 pages long. This one tells you of things we have identified, or just accounting issues that popped up. On page 1, the first one is the inadequate segregation duties. You will always have this because you're not going to have a bunch of accounting staff in your office here. You couldn't afford it, number one. So that's going to be there probably forever. The second one, fund encumbrance, we've already talked about that need to have that been maintained. And it did take quite a bit of work to reconstruct that and put it into the general ledger. So
Is that a software issue? Is that just a logging issue?
well, okay, it's basically the clerk in the office needs to identify whether going through the minutes or whatever reason, there's something on the table that you guys committed to that has not yet been spent or even acquired, needs to be identified, and then they need to actually make a journal entry into the books on that.
On these multi-year projects that we got with like water and sewer projects that we've had, do we have to do that every year?
Okay, let's go to the example, this, the Wilson and Company. Okay, and I'm just gonna use round numbers, say $200,000, and they, so you commit to the project, they may only spend maybe 100 the first year, and so you've got a commitment of 200, they did use 100 of it, and it comes out and converted to cash, but you still have 100 left over, and you're still committed to maybe 1 or 2 years later. So it stays there until it gets sucked out, or until you finish the project. Let's suppose they only charge you 180, then the 20,000 that they didn't spend can be pushed back in.
Because we just finished up 204 at 3.5 million. Has that all been expenditured out? Has that all been paid out?
Have you voted on, you haven't, no, because you haven't voted on a contractor yet.
I'm talking about the project.
We just finished a street project.
Oh, street project.
Just right here. Now, has that all been paid out? Okay.
I'd have to look into that.
Because if there's some encumbrances on that we need to cover for next year, if we write the check in January,
Right.
we'll need to.
It'll be, yeah, if
You
there's,
follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Melissa? And so I don't think we have paid all of that 204 project out.
Is
They-
there's
they
some
haven't closed
reimbursable
it
in
yet.
there?
It's not been closed.
It has not been closed.
Not
No.
yet.
So before the year end, if whatever is not closed and what's due, we need to encumber and log it.
and a lot of times encumbrances on these bigger projects will be multi-year.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, a couple of these are gonna stretch into 2.5, 3 years.
Easily, yeah. So, that's, just something to be aware of. On the top of page 2, bank reconciliations were not performed timely in 2020. Basically, they weren't being done. And we strongly recommend they be done. And the problem is, and this is our recommendation strongly to council and to the staff, and we've done this in several other cities, when we've had problems getting the staff to understand what needs to be done. There is 3 reports that need to be done with the bank rec. And so what we're gonna recommend is that they do that and send it to us so we can look at it on a timely basis, see if it's done right. If it's not done right, we try to direct them how to fix it and get it done right. Then we'll go to month 2, do the same thing. Month 3, usually by the time we get to the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th month, we pretty well got it lined up. But, and that's worked very well for us in the past when we've got a staff. And part of it's the computer programs. You know, you change a computer program, sometimes they change how they present the
We have,
information.
so we have program change lately?
No, we're looking into it.
So, and also,
Making a change.
if you have turnover of staff,
Yeah.
that happens.
That's,
So, anyway, that's what we're gonna recommend, and in fact, we're gonna pretty well insist upon that next year. We're just wanna see those as they go, we don't want six at once, we wanna see monthly so we can identify the fix and get it fixed. So, on page, next to last page, we have a couple, 3 comments. The first one is health insurance and payroll development payments need to be kind of dovetailed with the payroll withholding. So like, this is an extreme example, but, I'm not saying this is what happened, but let's suppose that the health insurance was assigned 100% to water when it should have been split among 3 different funds. We want to see those matched, if an employee works for the water, well, we want the health insurance assigned for that employee to the water. If it's worked out of general fund, it's not been done correctly. So that's one
Is that
recommendation.
in a programming issue?
We're more of getting it coded right.
You get it coded, right?
Yeah, this
I
two
think
would,
that's something that's been working on to get corrected.
and, number 2, we talked about the canceled checks. Number 3,
I'm curious on number 2, how many checks would we have that's 2 years old that's outstanding?
I can't answer the number. There's not very many.
it wouldn't be, normally, if you have more than 3 or 4, it's unusual. And most of the time, they are small numbers. So I don't think you got for something with it.
No rats. But they,
It's just a
yeah, I was
formality.
gonna say, if they're still there, that'd be part of the reconciling problem.
Well, it's, until you take them off the books, it is part of the reconciling, just like any outstanding check would be.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you say, that's over 2 years, and for whatever reason it didn't clear, then you take it off your rec, and you actually book a revenue item to recognize that the check never cleared. It becomes a revenue item.
Right. That's what happens in my checking account. I pull checks on there.
Number 3, we do recommend that the interest earned on the CDs be booked as it's given to, when the CD matures, and you got the interest, you need to book that as revenue. And we also, the comp time rules are not very clear in the, who qualifies for comp time, who doesn't. We recommend that actually be completely reviewed and identify what employees, based on state statute and actually U.S. Department of Labor regulations, what qualifies and doesn't. Bluntly, most of the time, the comp rules apply to your firemen, police, guys in the field. It usually does not apply to the city offices. It's usually the people that,
Now, does our office girls have comp time?
I'm not, I think that's not clear whether they do or don't.
You have-
Well, kind of. I don't know how to explain it. So for right now, like if I were at a council meeting, that would be time and a half. That goes towards comp time, not extra pay.
But if she only worked 38 hours and took the 2 hours tonight and applied it to the 40,
Yes.
then you don't have comp time. So it's 40
If you
hours.
don't work a full 40 hours, then you don't get that as comp time.
That's right.
You just get it paid as straight.
But there are certain, and you do need to take them at the U.S. Department of Labor requirements because they have some very specific rules in there also.
I think we ought to have Brittany give us a copy of our handbook that has comp time in there, and maybe see if we can fine tune this a little better.
So,
If there's an issue with it. Are you talking about like for city workers? All.
yeah, I think for everybody, it really needs to be defined for everybody, so there's no question mark.
Can you help us with that?
Some,
Becky, not you.
yeah, you're right about that.
I'll talk about that.
Actually, probably better yet would be to contact the league and see if they got an example of how the comp time ought to be done.
Would you do that, Brittany? And include it in our packet for next meeting?
Yeah, that's the best source because they're gonna have a very solid example to work with.
Okay, that's good, that's cool. Would they have any answers on these other violations that we have?
Most, I wouldn't think so,
Probably not.
not so much.
Let's contact the league and see what their recommendation is on it.
Any other questions? I know you had a long meeting already. Good thing the Chiefs aren't playing.
I'm just getting wound up.
Jeez, who are they? Did they play last night? Yeah.
No.
They didn't play last night.
They were there.
They were there.
So anyway, well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. If you have more questions, just holler.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yep.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for sticking around. You added a lot to it.
So, yep, we'll see you. And you may have some questions with these new projects, because these are big stuff. These are big.
No,
By the way, he did not talk about it. These are single audit requirements. Because it's Fed source money, you will have a single audit on probably at least 3 to 4 years consistently, in the neighborhood of probably at least 10 to 15,000 a year extra.
That's what you're gonna charge us?
Yeah, they're a bitch. They really are.
That's just being right to the $15,000.
They really are. And
Do they
what's
have
bad
that
about it,
plugged into our, what we asked
and
for?
in fairness, it's tough for us. And the reason being is, like, my daughter does SEC audits for a big CPA firm in Dallas. I mean, we're talking big companies. But when they do an SEC audit, their license is exposed because of SEC rules and et cetera. This is the same thing for the government entities. These are all reviewed by clearinghouse in, I think Baltimore. They may have changed it, but it's around in the eastern part of the US. All the reports are sent there, they're reviewed, and we've never been selected, but someday we will be, and they're a real pain. So there's a high exposure on them, and they're expensive, and they're just, if they're paying for us, they're just as much a pain for you. I mean, it really is.
So if upon your notification will be an announcement for retirement.
So, but I do want to, it's too good of money to pass up.
Yeah.
But it does, you talked about the Davis Bacon, that's going to probably add 5 to 10% to the construction costs.
Yep.
And this is another piece of the extra costs that are required. The rules are $1 million a year. If you spend more than $1 million, you are subject to the single audit requirements.
Well, we just got a project on a total, what, 5.3 million?
Yeah, so and you're talking 3 to 4 years.
And we just closed, we're gonna close on a $3.5 million project on New York Street.
So that's good. And most of that's probably Fed monies.
It's all fit.
Yep, all fit.
Yep. So it's, they won't like us when we get done.
No, probably not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Dennis.
John.
Is our previous and ongoing business. We're just about half done here. Cereal malt beverage license, who do we have that up
It's for jeans.
for, Gene?
Everything's in order. We already got the report back there, Jim.
I'll
Okay.
make that motion that Jeans gets a beverage.
I need a second for that motion.
There's 3 of them.
I gave it to you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Gee, thank
There's a second, third, and a fourth. Okay. All those in favor of the cereal malt beverage for Jeans, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bridge replacement, temporary easement on Highway 9, right at the west edge of Gaylord. We need to,
This is just more of FYI that it's going
Yeah.
to be happening. So there's no motion or anything that needs to
okay.
happen for that.
So if there is something that we need to.
We will have that later.
Have a contract with the state on, all right. Raises and bonuses. Do we have a schedule with us?
I did put one in there for your
In mine?
guys's. Yes. It's like Chris has one right there if you want to look at it.
You guys prepared for this, or you want to table this till next meeting? Give me your thoughts.
Well, we could do the Christmas bonuses now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
$10.
I got a motion for 10. What was our last year's?
300 and 600.
Okay.
Apple.
Comments on
Don't
these,
shoot, Jamie. It was Tracy.
I make a motion, we give, year-end bonuses the same as in 24, 300 for part-time, 600 for full-time.
I have it written down here, 350 and 700.
Just conversation.
So my motion was the same as last year.
It died due to the lack of a second.
That was quick.
Like I said, I've got 300 and 600. If I die from the second, then I die from the lack of a second.
Motion died due to the lack of a second. Let's talk about this. You guys want to do the same, or we want to kick it 50 and 100?
I think same as last year.
Comment?
When you got your, they're not.
Everett. Ty.
What's your, what do you think, Trace?
I just said, we haven't gave them their raises yet, so
Chris.
that's a lot.
Just from inflationary purposes, I'd bump it up a little bit. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have any trouble with it at all.
I have a trouble with somebody making a motion, so I can have a second.
I make a motion that part-time employees 350, full-time at 7.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you very much. Roll call. Don, yes or no?
Yes.
Chris?
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
I tell you what, I want to do a roll call vote. It's suicide, fellas.
I know.
That's why I do it.
So what do we go, 350 and 700?
I mean,
Let's do the raises and bonuses, or not the raises at the next meeting. And I would like a little bit of time to look at it.
Yeah, if we could get some historical bumps that we've done over the
Okay.
past
Yeah.
couple of years, 3 years, that'd be ideal, please.
How do these guys get such nice packets to thumb through? I get this.
I was told you don't want one.
No.
Do you want a green booklet?
Please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You know, this week, the first council meeting of the month, he gets a booklet, the second one, he does not. It just- There you go.
Anyway. New transit employee, we have some going interviewed that's willing to accept the position.
Yes, it's Delmer Carter. He's already went and had his physical done, to say that he's good to have a KDOT physical. So he's ready to go.
He's been vetted.
Yep.
Who's a transit person?
Me. Oh, on here. Yeah,
No, you? Okay.
I need a list, I'm sorry.
Wonderful.
Do you even know anything about this?
Do you know Delmer?
not a clue.
Do you know who Sherry Sauer is? She works with Sherry Sauer, she works at the library,
Yeah.
and that's her husband.
Oh, lives in Bel Air. I know.
Oh,
Oh, I know Sherry.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
I think,
he used to work at the prison for a long time.
I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's retired, needs something to fill
And he's
some
a
of his
really
time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, he's really nice.
As long as you know.
I
the
think you'd be
situation.
good with the people.
And we need a driver really bad. We're down to 2 right now, and we're having to close the vans a couple days a
Everett, you'll
week.
make the motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved seconded, hire the new transit employee, whatever.
Start tomorrow.
Start tomorrow. Pay level,
I put him as part-time. That's what I,
part-time pay level what? Grade
1.
Grade 1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Put all that in your minutes. Departmental reports, economic development.
They are not here again. They said they were gonna be here. There is an item in here that I thought would be best for the Economic Development Board to discuss.
Is there a action item?
There is, it's the same minutes from the last meeting. They are requesting for a halt in payment on their loan from the daycare center for a year. So that is the one item that hasn't been addressed yet in there. But I was hoping that someone would be here to explain, so.
Let's, I suggest that we postpone that to the next meeting as well.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. Moved and seconded, postpone that. This to the next meeting. Nice report, economic development. Rick here,
Rick is not.
anybody have anything to bring forth for Rick? Anymore? Jamie, you may have the floor. Do you have anything to bring for the council?
The one thing I have for you, Josh, like the Tahoe down to Junction City.
Okay.
He said he'd contact me when he was done or if he had any questions. I haven't heard anything, so hopefully everything goes good with it anyway, so. You know, it drives good in the snow because we got caught in a pretty good snowstorm. Got around the way in it, so.
Yeah, oh, cool.
So,
Ever, do you have anything for Jamie?
Nope.
Ty,
I do not.
No.
Tracy, Don?
Nope.
Chris?
Jamie, have you worked on putting something together with school for the scooters? And
yeah, and I actually talked to Laura from the health department, and she got helmets from a grant. And we gave them out at the park this summer. So she got us some more in. So we'll have those to give to the kids who don't have helmets when we do it. So
do you have a timeline when you're gonna do that?
I'd kind of like to get it after the first year, you know, see where we got kids got scooters for Christmas. Yeah, we don't have a lot of them riding right now with the colder weather and stuff, but I think we can catch them until school after we get that break done and get something going, so.
Okay, yeah, please do.
And then I think we're gonna work on something to post on the website, kind of the do's and don'ts and for the parents and stuff, so it's always on there. So they want to refer to it. There's a lot of places that have information that they have posted that talk about helmets and the age should, you know, some kids, some government agencies say anybody under 4 shouldn't be, you know, well, I think it's under 8, should be riding because their motor skills aren't refined real well, so.
Sorry.
The only thing I'd like for you to get with me, and maybe Chris, and maybe do a little research on a drone.
Okay, well, we talked about, I don't know.
I know we have, but
Yeah, so.
yeah, we weren't on the same page as what price point I would talk
I've
about.
gotten a few different bids.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get together here within the next week, so we can bring something to the council for next meeting.
Okay.
If you would. That's all I had. Brittany, do you have anything to bring for the council?
Just a couple things. I did finally hear back from the Community Foundation. We got the okay to sell the tree spade from the golf course, to purchase the sprayer. So the sprayer has been ordered already. So I told Taylor that he could go ahead and put the tree spade up for sale, so he could use those funds to purchase the sprayer.
Are they gonna administer, are they gonna do it, take pictures and stuff, or you want Rick to?
That I don't know. I just kind of.
I think Rick has kind of been working with Taylor on it.
So.
I think Rick will do that. I think that's.
I think he was
listed
gonna do that
on
one
the
with
auction.
some of the other stuff.
Yeah, listed on the online.
We had some other stuff to sell too.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So Jill is transitioning out. We do need to have the motion to put me on the rest of the bank accounts, and to officially title me as the clerk, so I can sign some checks.
I need a motion to that effect.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to put Brittany on the rest of the bank accounts, make her official clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And that was all I have.
Brittany, thank you. Ty, you have anything for Brittany?
Nope.
Everett?
Nope.
Tracy?
No.
Don?
Nope.
Chris? Thank you, guys. Melissa, do you have anything to bring for the council?
Not right now.
Don, you have anything for Melissa?
Nope.
Chris?
No.
Tracy?
No.
Ty?
No.
Everett?
Nope.
Tabitha's not here. Governing body reports, start at the bottom. Ty, you have anything?
Nothing.
Everett?
Nothing.
Don?
Things good to go. I'm still a little concerned about, and I might have not seen this correctly, but is there still a door open up there?
Yes, the west one. And
The
that
west-
needs to be put in before long.
Who's in charge of that?
Bill?
I think it's ordered. I don't know if it's here yet.
Okay.
I need to talk to Rick. Or you talk to Rick or ask him, because he knows something about that door.
Okay.
I've got keys for the padlocks on everything else. It's padlocked.
Okay. Other than that. Thank you, Don.
That's all I got.
Tracy?
I wanted to know if I could purchase the 500-gallon tank that was used for propane at well 5 for our, Ryan said they don't need it.
Oh, okay. Call the co-op and see what those are bringing.
Okay, because I'd like to purchase it for our well up at the Blue Water. Since, I mean, it would be,
Rural Water,
yes,
I'd make a motion, we donate it to Rural Water.
well, it's whatever. I mean, they pay for it, but we're putting a generator in this next week.
Okay.
And we hopefully don't have to use it.
Is it full of propane?
I don't know. Now that, I'll take it if it
The
is.
propane's worth more than.
Yeah, that's good.
I would make the suggestion, the council have to decide, but I'd donate it to the water, Rural Water.
Ryan said they probably never use it again, so, or rate, so, whatever. Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Council in agreement with that?
Yes.
Is in agreement with the council to
To donate
donate
it?
that to Rural
Appreciate
Water.
that.
Put that in the,
I'm donating it.
Tracy, we done you a favor.
Somebody else wants to bid on it.
Chris, you have anything to bring for the council?
Did you hear me? I don't know if I spoke up, but on the wages for next time, could you get like the last 3 years worth of?
Like a past 5 years or so, just to
Yeah.
kind of see what you've done each
Yeah.
year, definitely.
And then secondly, and lastly, thank you, but have we, this kind of stuff here, to learn all this, I'm sure it's like standing in front of a blast furnace. Have we, do we need to provide you with some training somewhere, or are you comfortable with where you're at in this, learning this process?
I would like some additional training. I did go to KMAG just a month ago, and it kind of just differentiated the difference between how we do our accounting compared to the GAAP. But more information on it would be great, just to understand it better. I mean, I can run numbers, but to actually have a good understanding of it, I think that would
I
help.
think there's a lot of lingo
Yes.
in the
Well,
state that, you probably just.
The league
It's
is
gonna
a
take-
super,
Yeah.
a treasure trove of information.
Okay.
We haven't been going to League of Municipalities meetings for several years now. And we need to get back on that routine because
That's
it's
in
good for all.
March.
Well, normally it's in the fall, like October.
I don't
You're
think,
talking about the one we.
I don't think any of us will.
Oh.
That one that they
Have
rotate
something
between
we want
Wichita,
to do
Topeka,
that's
and Kansas.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
I've been watching some just videos at home, kind
I'm
of
sure
get some,
there's so much to learn there.
Oh.
yeah.
And some of those hickeys that they got us on, they're always gonna be there. We've seen that same one multiple times.
Yeah.
But I think we have to do our part. It's just gonna take time to learn all that stuff. I don't have
But
any-
like
have a
the
good-
checking part, I mean, you probably know what we're talking about there.
Are you all set for the December 12th,
That's Friday.
Friday, the
Friday?
40,
What
yep,
time?
6:30
In the morning?
a.m., absolutely. We're closing the offices down.
6:30. Everything set up? Good to go?
Yep,
Everybody gonna be there?
Pretty much.
almost everybody, yeah.
Awesome. See everybody December 12th. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
You're on call, buddy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, everyone, for an entertaining evening.
Hey, you made it out without any cat talk. Barely. I know, I have, I reached out to, a couple of people to see if they could give me some ideas of different ordinances that they have.
Well, I saw some, what I saw won't work.
Yeah, they're,
Oh,
No, no, they're not gonna, they're just like, they're still.
Is it Alice?
yeah.
We ain't got
Yeah. They right out hard that small towns can't comply, which is a good thing.
Isn't there something?